What's up, gamers? This is YuBan with a Mechabellum Replay Commentary. Today we are going to highlight a defensive game featuring the Farseer. Looking at the starting pack, we really like the cost control spec with Tarantula and Void Eye. I like these two units as a pairing, as one clears chaff and the other does pretty decent single target DPS, especially in the first 4 rounds. I don't quite mind the 11% nerf to the unit because of the extra supply we get. It allows us to grab early tech on all of our units and potentially get some early game tempo. Our opponent is Dzemp, a top 10 world ranking player playing as Sabertooth spec and starting with 2 Sabertooth and the Hounds. Opponent decided to go for a asymmetrical aggro, while we decided to go for a asymmetrical defense / mid-range. Whenever we are facing Sabertooth as Tarantula, we want to place our Tarantulas fairly far back, not anywhere near the line, because we know opponent is for sure going to be very close to the front of the board, and we don't want our Tarantulas to end up locking onto the Sabertooth, causing us to have a chaff problem. Looks like we decided to go for a center defense after all, trying to pull the units towards our Tarantula and Void Eye, and recognizing that whatever we get, even if we had gotten Fangs or Crawlers, we were most likely going to lose the first round. We decided to grab a pack of Phoenix, forgoing one deployment for a little bit of a saving tempo, just so we don't lose too much HP in the early game. Let's see how this works out. With our opponent not having any anti-air, this first round is going to be a default win for us. However, that's not before our opponent's Sabertooth grabs an early level. I don't even know how that happened. He would have had to kill both Tarantulas and quite a few Void Eyes. Anyways, that is a terrible thing for us to see, as level 2 Sabertooth on round 2 becomes almost unkillable with all the units we have on the board. Now, going into round 2, we're hoping for some kind of answer. And all 4 of these cards are amazing. If we choose to go play a headbutt game, we can do mass-produced Wraith, Laser Sight, Rhino Assault, Missile Strike. All of these are amazing. We decided to go for the Missile Strike to take out some of the chaff units that are clumped up. We could have also gone for the Rhino Assault to try to get an early tower debuff. However, in this case, I thought taking out 2 packs of chaff and slowing down this one Saber might be a better choice. Opponent went for the Rhino Assault, going for our back corner, recognizing there is no unit there and we don't have enough deployments and supply to defend it. Looks like our opponent is going to grab a easy early tower debuff in this case. And with this one marksman in the back, it'll be a gamble to see which side can take out the marksman versus the Phoenix first. With our opponent's overwhelming army coming in, seems like we easily lost the round 2, with both Sabertooth remaining alive. Round 3 reinforcement. Here we are not looking at the photon coating, as we are not tanking. We don't want to tank. The saber-tooth shots with our tarantulas. We thought about grabbing the advanced shield advice. However, whenever we are playing against high DPS units like the saber-tooth shoving in our face, shields are not exactly the best idea, as the opponent can easily pop the shields, causing us to lose economy in the meantime. So from here, round 3, we decided to click the energy absorption. Forgot to grab it on round 1 and round 2, and went for 2 packs of fangs and decided to use our extra supply to grab the range enhancement. I would say on this round we made 2 major mistakes. Number 1 was grabbing the fangs. I wanted the fangs for some slow moving chaff units next to our tarantulas to avoid the saber-tooth from one-shotting our tarantulas. However, these level 1 fangs die to the level 1 hounds, now with range, very quickly. What I should have gone was for more crawlers directly behind the tarantulas. My number 2 mistake was grabbing the range enhancement far too early. Even though we had the supply to do so, we should have recognized that our opponent's chaff units are all fairly far back, and there's only 5 packs of them. By grabbing the range enhancement, we are at a high risk of locking onto the saber-tooth, causing us to not clear chaff and just end up losing the entire board. As you can see here, this tarantula already locked on to the tanky level 2 saber-tooth. Same with this guy here. And with saber-tooth's ability to 2-shot or 1-shot a tarantula, this middle guy here has done nothing but to shoot at the level 2 saber-tooth. Luckily on the left side, this one tarantula was able to lock onto the saber-tooth for long enough to at least clear it and get some experience. With our chaff clear problem, we end up losing round 3 as well. Round 4 unit reinforcement. Here, 3 packs of steel balls can be really good going into the saber-tooth, as they shoot so slowly, they usually have a hard time dealing with mass steel balls. The wasp could be also a good unit to pick up, as our opponent has no anti-air that can deal with the wasp, especially with only 1 marksman. However, with the Farseer showing up on the same unit drop, the wasp all of a sudden seems a little bit weaker. And our opponent decided to end grabbing the Farseer, and we're going to do the same thing, recognizing we need some kind of damage dealing unit that can scale and that we can match our opponent's saber-tooth. With that, we grabbed the immediate burst mode and we lined up the Farseer right in front of each of these saber-tooth, just slightly back. Opponent also grabbed the Farseer, placing them in the back to protect his flanks. Now there is no chance for us to do any kind of cheese to the flanks. However, we can still do some kind of cheese by pulling the corner units here back into their far back corner, delaying the power of our opponent's push, hopefully allowing us to take care of the frontal assault before these guys can get back. And then dropping a round 4 oil as our signature, and also because we are cost control, we should be utilizing lots of sentry missiles like here and here, and these spells to gain an advantage. Our opponent's missile takes out our entire pack of Fang and the Void Eye. That was a very good missile. Let's see how our burst mode Farseers are doing. Fantastic. Helping our tarantula that was stuck shooting on the saber-tooth, taking that saber-tooth out. and these two Farseer managed to take out the pesky level 2 Sabertooth in the process. Even though it seems like we're going to lose this round once again, it felt like the Farseers coming online, coming on the board, had an immediate impact to our game's tempo. Round 5, Rhino Assault showed up again. So did Smoke Bomb. Smoke Bomb is an amazing spell that lasts 2 rounds if we're able to land it. And being cost control, I'm encouraged to take every spell that comes onto the reinforcement card. After taking this spell, we decided to grab 2 more Farseer, putting down our smoke, half covering the oil, half covering the other side of the army, and placing the missile strike that just came back on this outside edge here. What we're trying to accomplish here was missile out this pack of chaff clear units and smoke out the middle 2 while pulling the outside pack of chaff clear unit, leaving our opponent with 1 pack of level 1 hounds in the process to clear our crawlers. And these hounds have to walk through oil to boot. Our goal here was to not target the Sabertooth, but instead try to take out the hounds as much as we can, as quickly as we can, so we can keep the Sabertooth stuck shooting on chaff units. Opponent decided to put down 1 shield, and honestly, we should have done the same with our remaining supply. I honestly didn't think opponent was going for the smoke drop, so it caught me by surprise. You see here, we grab 1 missile strike, 1 sentry missile here with our remaining money to take out this pack of hounds. Now all of a sudden, this 1 Sabertooth and the Farseer in the back have no chaff clear helping them out. Even though we only have 2 packs of chaff units on the left side, I believe that's going to be more than enough to hold out this opponent's push for now. And look at our level 2 Phoenix combining with the Farseers, doing tremendous damage, taking out the level 2 Sabertooth with ease. Now we can turn our attention to the right side army that's arriving late. It seems like our own Farseer are stuck in the oil that we dropped and the smoke that we dropped, causing us to actually lose on the right side assault. However, with 2 Farseers left and only a few packs of hounds, we managed to take our first round victory, finally striking back at our opponent. Round 6 reinforcement. Once again, because I am cost control spec, I get extra 100 supply every turn. I'm very incentivized to grab these big spells. So did our opponent, recognizing that if he lands this EM blast properly, he could actually just win the game right here, right now. We recognize that our tarantulas need a little less tech. In fact, I would almost prefer if they don't have the range tech so they don't get stuck shooting on the Sabertooth. So we put these 2 bubbles here to protect the 4 packs of Farseer, recognizing this is where our concentrated army is, and that's most likely going to be the target of the EM blast. Opponent decided to grab the loose formation. This is his attempt at delivering a killing blow at us, combining with the EM blast and the loose formation. With only 3 packs of tarantulas without HE, these Farseers are going to have a hard time clearing all the chaff units that's coming in. Now we can see there's a pack of crawler behind every single Sabertooth. For us, We also added more chaff units in the back because we had the same idea. We wanted to get loose formation the next turn, recognizing these level 2 hounds one-shot the crawlers anyway. So it doesn't really matter if we kind of lose some HP just so they don't clump up and get killed by the 6-meter splash of the hounds. Let's see if our opponent can successfully deliver his killing blow. Looks like with our Tarantula staying in the back being EM'd, they end up being able to clear most of the chaff, allowing the Farseers in the bubble to clear most of our opponent's Sabertooth. Look at this guy, still clearing chaff. However, with this unfortunate power timing, and our opponent still having a Marksman and Farseer, opponent grabs another round win. However, that's far from the killing blow that he was hoping to deliver. Round 7, Phantom Ray could be an interesting pick against our opponent's board. However, Farseer, if they decided to grab the aerial spec, opponent doesn't run the burst mode. If our opponent grabs the aerial spec, our Phantom Rays would just get deleted right away. Fortress and Melting Point are not exactly the units to go into Mass Sabertooth with some levels and tech already. And that left the 2 packs of level 3 Stormcallers as our best choice out of this pack of unit drop. Our opponent's units are still fairly slow moving, especially the Sabertooth, moving only at 8 meters per second. With everything clumped up here, even if they don't shoot at the Sabertooth, if they splash some of the hounds, that's going to help tremendously. Our opponent thought the same. Immediately, missiling out the 2 packs of hounds, lined up the Stormcallers to each of our Tarantula and Tower. I think the idea here is if they can take out the Tarantulas with these level 3 Stormcallers, then we have no chaff clear, and we're going to be stuck shooting at the loose formation. On our side, we recognize that we had a serious chaff problem, especially after our opponent grabbed the loose formation. We decided to grab 2 more Tarantulas on the left side, reinforcing this stream of crawlers and the middle stream of crawlers that's coming in, leaving this middle Tarantula to deal with the middle packs. And then we also grab the loose formation tech. With our HE tech, we should be able to clear the loose formation crawlers with a lot more efficiency. Let's see if we can clear all the chaff and allow our level 3 Stormcallers to do some work. Look at this. Nice sentry missile on both sides. Ours managed to take out the level 3 Stormcallers right away. And look at these Stormcallers locking on to the level 1 Sabertooth. Somehow we're able to clear our opponent's chaff units very quickly. And with the newly addition range enhancement from our Farseer, they were able to lock on to the forward-facing Sabertooth right away before the second and third wave of chaff units can come through. And with that, all of a sudden, we've taken our opponent down to 450 health. Literally 2 Farseers surviving can win us a game and grant us a comeback. Recognizing our units are doing work, we need these Farseers to do as much damage as possible. We grab the Emp Core, and so did our opponent. This item on a level 3 Sabertooth is so powerful, making this guy almost the size of a Abyss in terms of HP. Here our oil came back, and this is why we always click oil before round 4. for the opportunity of this very impactful turn that literally is going to decide the game. We chose to drop it on the right side, recognizing this is where the two of the strongest saber-tooths are, and where our opponent has the most chaff clear units. Thinking that opponent is for sure going to put some bubbles to protect the Stormcallers, we dropped the missile strike on the left side here, taking out the chaff and the chaff clear unit once again. Our opponent made a prediction play by clicking the sprinkler tech on the Hound, thinking that he is vulnerable to us clicking the incendiary bomb on the Stormcallers. I think that is a good read, as if we light the ground on fire, especially with oil, then these saber-tooth will not stand a chance against these 180 meter range Farseers shooting from the back. However, we decided not to go for the fire because we recognized that the Tarantulas with HE did more than well enough to clear all the chaff that's coming along the way, and we decided to grab one more on the right side here. Opponent also grabbed the missile interceptor and put down 4 AM devices. Recognizing this has to be the last round of the game, he doesn't care to lose these. I mean, if he loses them, that means he's lost anyway. So with 4 AM devices and 5 saber-tooth with AM device, can they intercept all of the burst mode Farseers? Let's find out. Look at this. Missile strike, take it down, immediately lock on to the level 2 saber-tooth. And almost one-shotting it. Middle, seems like we're struggling a little bit. However, this Farseer also managed to find the target on the level 2 saber-tooth. And with only one saber-tooth left, ducking the oil, shooting at nothing, seems like opponent's attempt at using the missile interceptors did not work very well against the burst mode Farseers. That is something I did not know about. And with this many Farseer sitting in the back, we managed to pull off a comeback against our very strong opponent, Dzemp. In summary, we started the game in a defensive posture with Tarantulas and Void Eye. Recognizing Sabertooth are the bane of Tarantula's existence, we placed them only 2 squares in front of the tower in a defensive posture, but also slightly forward so we don't get an early tower debuff. From here, we made a mistake by grabbing the Fangs and the early range enhancement, losing us a lot of tempo when our Tarantulas just ended up locking onto the Sabertooth and not clearing chaff units. From here, we decided to go with the double Farseer drop on the first unit drop, hoping that these guys with the burst mode can take down the medium-sized units Sabertooth, and recognizing burst mode also works really well against the Hounds in the process. From here, it became a back and forth battle of chaff clear and helping our DPS units locking onto each other's big units. And with with Tarantula's superior chaff clear ability, especially with HE against loose formation crawler, we were able to pull off a very intense comeback with our backline of 6 Farseers. And look at how much damage each of these guys did. 200k, 100k, 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 100k. Even this guy did 20k damage. Just wild. If you stay till the end of the game, I showcase the gameplay from our opponent's perspective on how they could have possibly have won the game or won the round. Let's go to Dzemp's perspective on round 6, where he was trying to deliver the killing blow. At this point, I was down to around 1000 HP, while Dzemp was still at, I think, 3000 HP. So let's see. Instead of... I think we're going to place the EM Blast in the same place, targeting these guys. I don't even remember what he did. I think he needed to target this corner here really hard, as there are no units, no tower level, not even any chaff clear. And we also have the... Let's sell something. I don't think these guys were doing much. Also have the Rhino Assault. So what if we do a backline Rhino distraction? You notice the answer to these killing blows is always War Factory. It doesn't run HE. In this case, let's do Launcher Overload. Let's move this guy right in here, and we'll missile out these guys right away. This should grab us a fairly fast tower debuff and win us the game. Let's see. Distraction. Most crawlers go back. We need to clear the chaff. Hurry, hurry. Okay, now we're gonna get a tower debuff. This should win us the game. Boom, with Farseer, Sabertooth still on the board, and with this War Factory coming in, that's going to be an easy victory. Let's see. Yeah, that should be more than enough damage. Yeah, 2000 damage on round 6. That could have been the killing blow. That concludes our replay commentary. I hope you enjoyed the game as much as I did. Stay tuned for more videos.